Boyd Myers, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Nick. What's up, man?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm really looking forward to this combo here. There's a lot of things I want to cover here today, but I'd like to start with a recent change in your life, which is in the past 8 months, year, you've recently sold everything that you had pretty much and moved into an RV. And so I'd love to hear from it on your end.
Yeah, man. So I decided probably about just a little later than this time last year, probably May or so, I realized that all the things that I owned were owning me. And for so many years, stuff was just like everything to me, accumulating as much stuff as possible. The cool cars, the classic cars, the giant house, and just having it full of everything in the world. And the more that I purchased, the more that I had, the more empty I felt. And it really occurred to me during COVID, like, yeah, I don't give a damn about all this stuff. What I miss is going out and doing things, going out and running races or just hanging out with friends or traveling. That's what I truly missed. And just kind of had that epiphany last May or June or so. And I was like, I'm selling all this shit, everything, getting rid of all of it. Cars, I'm getting rid of everything. So yeah, listed my house on the market. Yeah. My plan was to buy the RV. I'm in the RV right now. If you can't tell by the RV blind behind me, the shade here, but got rid of everything, man. So my 4,200 square foot house on just under 2 acres. I got rid of my truck, my cars, man, just unloaded. And as I was doing it, I could just feel the burden being lifted. So to finally just get rid of almost everything. Basically what I have in here, I do have a little storage unit. It's got some stuff in it, stuff I wasn't able to get rid of. And I just been too lazy to go sell it and everything. But yeah, man, it's been the most rewarding thing ever. And now I regret, the only regret I have is I didn't do it, 10 years ago.
Yeah. And what was that feeling when you put the house up for sale? Was it a bit nervousness of like, holy shit, what the hell am I doing here? Because I know that's kind of what I felt whenever I decided to move to South America for a couple months. That first plane ticket that I bought, I was like, shit, now it's real, tough to go back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was kind of I designed that house. I built that house as my dream house. At the time, it was everything I wanted. I mean, I had the theater room. I had a big giant game room. I had 8 TVs in that game room. I had a giant bar in it. I love that house. I loved it. And I built it, I thought it was going to be my forever home. But, a few years later, I got divorced. So I didn't have my ex-wife wasn't there. My daughter's there part-time and she's still young. And, my son, he's turning 18. So it's got to the point where I was like, I'm going to be in this big ass house by myself. Right. So and some of it, people thought it was all financial. It really wasn't. But I mean, the truth be told, when it comes to doing the yard, the energy bills, the gas and all that, the water, I had a housekeeper because I worked all the damn time. Man, before I did anything, and I started looking at my automobile insurance and stuff. Before I paid my house note, I was several grand in, right? So, then I start throwing car payments on and my house note. Man, I mean, my expenditures were 10 to 12 grand a month. I mean, sometimes like 14 to 15. And I'm talking, that's before food, right? Before doing anything. So, to cut all that out again, man, it was just like I said, the weight of the world, right? So soon after I decided to list my house, I quit my job. I was like, man, I'm going full in on this right here. I'm going in on myself. I'm going back to coaching. I'm doing what I love. I'm getting out of the corporate grind. I walked away from all of it, man. So 2022 was a huge year for transition for me. I mean, and in my opinion, it was probably the most rewarding year of my life up until now.
Hell yeah. I love that. Such a great story. And the crazy thing is, most people avoid change, right? They are scared of change because they don't know what the other side may bring, when in reality, like, if you want freedom ever in your life, you need to embrace change. You need to embrace uncertainty of like, I'm going to take this leap and I don't really know where it goes or what's going to happen to me, but like, I got to do it, because if I don't, I know where I'm going to end up, right where I'm at now. And I'm not a big fan of where I'm at now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, could I have stayed there? Could I have done that forever? Absolutely, I could have. Right? I mean, it was comfort, right, and it was the ultimate comfort. And I remember driving because I was a regional sales manager for a home sales company, and I remember driving, all over Oklahoma and Texas and all that. I remember thinking, like, what am I doing? This truck is my coffin, right? I'd see other people, I'd be sitting in traffic and I'd lose my mind. And and again, a lot of people do that forever and they never escape it, right? And I never felt like that was me. I never felt, I never loved it. I never enjoyed it, right? And people say, you do what you love, but you have to eat, you have to get paid, right? You have to, you got to provide. And I'm like, man, I can find a million other ways to do that, right? So I refuse to be a slave to a company and a job and a way of life that did not serve me. It was killing me. It was eating my soul alive, and I had to let it go.
Why do you think the possessions were your, big chase back in the day? And, what kind of made that switch? You said it was during COVID, but what
Yeah.
kind of that aha moment?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, I don't know, maybe a part of it was I grew up broke. I grew up very, very, very poor in Southeast Kentucky and never really had a whole lot. I didn't realize at that point I didn't. But I guess just faulty wiring, right? I started believing that, just the more toys you had, the better you were, the happier you were. So like I said, it happened during COVID, and the aha moment for me was, I don't know what I had bought, but it was something, right? But I remember I had this Porsche, right? And I remember thinking about it. I'd gotten rid of it, but I remember thinking, and I remember I drove that car thousands of times, hundreds, at least hundreds of times. And I couldn't tell you anything about the dash cluster, right? I couldn't tell you I couldn't have drawn it if I had to. I'd seen it 1,000 times. I couldn't tell you exactly where the gauges were, right? But I knew when I couldn't do it that I could tell you everything in the world about the first time I took my son to the beach and he played in the ocean. I could tell you about trips to Central America and the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and just the Caribbean altogether, right? I can tell you about being in Europe. I can tell you about being in Japan. And I can tell you about every second about the day my daughter was born, and my son was born. And I can tell you every second about the first time I ran an Ironman, right? And I knew that it was like, at that point, it was like, stuff doesn't mean anything. Experiences mean everything. So yeah, man, I tell you, when I sold my first trophy car, and that was the car I worked for. That was the one I wanted for more than anything. When I watched it drive off up the hill, I didn't die. And I realized, I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to make it.
Yeah, it's a trap that, the overwhelming majority of people get stuck in, right? We see other people doing well, have these nice cars, these nice houses. And so, we think we should be getting that same thing, even though if we can't afford it. And like you said, we get owned by the things that we own, that in order to keep this nice house that we purchased, and in order to keep this nice car that we lease, like, we need to pay a couple grand a month just to keep afloat. And so you get stuck in a job that you might not like and that is wrecking your soul, but you need to because it pays the bills, and you're worried about being able to afford these things on a weekly, monthly basis if you're not in that job and you try and do something that you're a little more passionate about. And so it is a vicious trap. It is a vicious trap that, again, most people get into, and coming to a realization of these things that I think will make me happy. And they might, for that instant moment that you buy it, you're like, oh shit, this is cool. I have this fucking sick Porsche now. And like those first couple rides were probably awesome behind the wheel. But then, like you said, slowly and slowly, it just becomes another thing that you have stockpiled in the house. And it's those experiences that you talk about that are actually going to be something you remember for the rest of your life. An idea that I like to think about and that I heard somewhere is that, at 80, 90 years old, you're not going to be thinking about the car that you had. You're going to be thinking about the memories that you've made. Memories are basically an investment. The experience that you make are an investment, because you not just get that great experience at the moment, but you get to reflect on that time and time again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and you get that instant initial hit of dopamine. The first time you drive that car, the first time someone says, "Hey, nice car," right? And it's cool, but that wears off, right? It wears off quick, and then, like you said, it's the vicious cycle. I mean, then you're stuck. You're stuck doing something you're miserable with, and you don't have any time, right? I mean, corporate America will eat you alive. They will take every ounce of you they can get. And then when you no longer serve them, whatever it be, age or just be burnout or whatever, or there's something new comes along, you're gone, and they won't think twice about it, right? So I never viewed myself as being expendable so much, right? But I watched during the cutbacks, right, during COVID, even in my industry, I saw like, hey, they were letting less productive people go. I mean, and those people were stuck, right? And yeah, everybody's like, it sounds great. You get $5,000 a month of unemployment. I'm like, well, all these people are making $200,000 and $300,000 or $400,000 a year, and with that, they had $200,000 or $300,000 a year of bills, right? So I watched people turn into financial ruin. Now I was a little more responsible than that. I could have taken a bunch of time off. That was okay. But I never want to find myself in that position, right? To where I have to get another job. Now, the flip side of that was I didn't even know where to start, right? And it sounds easy. Sell your house, start selling stuff. Well, it wasn't, right? Because I had a huge emotional attachment to a lot of those things. And that, which is funny now looking back, because I just let it all go. I mean, I had some of the stuff I said, just take it. People come, just get it. I'm not arguing. Get it out of here, right? And there were some things I was like, oh man, I remember my daughter opening those drawers on that hutch or whatever, right? I mean, and so some things stung, but man, every time something left, the thing that I wondered, like, oh, I'm just going to break my heart to see that go. Like my media room set up. I mean, cause one guy bought the speakers, bought my whole surround sound and the television. And I remember thinking, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle watching that go, because I'm a big movie guy, I'm a big sports guy. But when it left, I was over it. I was like, okay, next, right? So, yeah, man, I'm not saying it's for everybody, because a lot of people dream. If you've never had that stuff, it's a big dream for a lot of people. The American dream is to own your own piece of the world, right? Well, I had this great backyard, and I was sitting out in one day, and I remember looking around the trees, and there's owls in the trees, and you can hear them, and I remember thinking, yeah, this is a great backyard, and I will miss moments in this backyard, but now the whole world's my backyard, right? So just kind of flipping the way I viewed it. And yeah, man, I haven't regretted it. I mean, here we are. I've been in my RV now for 4 months and 3 days, and I haven't regretted it for 1 second.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? That, it's easy for people like yourself or just other, kind of, people that had done well for themselves to say, like, oh, like material things aren't everything. And like, because you said, like, not everybody can afford that.
Sure.
And like, some people really do want that. So it first comes down to like actually understanding what it is that you actually want out of life, which so many people don't. So many people go down the normal path of corporate world, so on and so forth, just because they say that they or think that they should. But for some people, that is the right path for them. And so it all comes down to awareness in the first place, in my opinion, that like before you want to make any major change or decide on anything, figure out what it is, what the hell you actually want. And then once you identify what it is, what you truly want, then taking those next logical steps become much easier. Because for your, purpose, your instance, like you realize that, you want the freedom of not having all these things. And so getting rid of each of those things is a little easier than it would have been if you still thought like, oh, one day again, I'm going to want this, big house and a bunch of stuff. And so It doesn't sting as much in the long run or in the short run to actually make those changes. But how's our RV life been?
Yeah. So to put it in perspective, my RV is roughly the same square footage as my master bathroom and my master closet were. I think my closet and my bathroom may have been a little bigger, right?
Dang.
But it's simple, man. It's a simple life. I mean, it's like today, I've got all the windows in the place open, right? The air's flowing through. It feels phenomenal, right? It's probably 80 outside, 75 or 80. And it's great, man. It's just me and my dog. He's over there asleep. He's snoring right now. I'm surprised it's not picking it up on the microphone. But yeah, man, I mean, I cook out outside every day, right? I mean, most of my meals are cooked out on my griddle. It's just simple. And I'd always heard that people would explain it. They couldn't put it into terms, right? What that means. But I would recommend it for anyone. So yeah, my daughter thinks it's the greatest thing in the world. She's 4, right? It's an adventure for her. At some point she may say, I don't want to go over there anymore. But yeah, man, I can move. I can go anywhere I want, anytime I want. You know, I can change my view anytime I want. I can go there's lakes, there's mountains, you know, there's the ocean, be anywhere, anytime I want. And it's just crazy. It's just so much freedom. You almost don't even know what to do with it. So yeah, it's just different, man.
Yeah, like you said, the whole world's your backyard at this point.
Yeah.
Got any
it's
scheduled?
Yeah, so in May, my girlfriend's coming from England. We're going to hit the road. We're going to go to St. George. I've got a client and some friends racing the half Ironman in St. George on May 6th. From there, we're going down to Vegas. You know, she's only been to Florida, right? So that's her view of America is Florida. So we're gonna road trip it from Texas to St. George, Utah, from St. George down to Vegas. From Vegas, we're going out to Huntington Beach. We're gonna go hang out with Chef Andy Gruel for a few days and let him cook. I'm fatting my ass up even more. See, you know, she's never seen the Pacific, right? So hang out, you know, on the Pacific Ocean on the beach. And then we're going to come back through Flagstaff, go to the Grand Canyon, spend a couple of days there because I've been to Grand Canyon. I've 1 day and 2 days. It's not quite enough, right? If you want to see it in all its beauty and see everything around it, you got to plan for 2 or 3 days. And you're going to be busy. You're going to get some steps in, right? You're going to get some movement. Yeah, and then we're going to just kind of trickle back to Texas. The only thing about the states out west are a little bigger, right? So you drive a long time and you don't see a whole lot, right? But yeah, I'm excited. Just getting out on the road, letting her see it. I mean, I've been to all those places, but it's going to be a lot of fun, right? So I'm really excited about the trip.
Yeah, that's awesome. And no better doing it from the comfort of your own home, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we recently decided we're not going to do it in the RV just for the simple reason we have to get to St. George so quick, right? And gas right now is through the roof, right? And so we're going to plan our big RV trip. We're going to go east in October. So one of my big dreams has always been to like tailgate a University of Tennessee football game in an RV, right? So we're going to do that trip where there's not a rush on time, where we don't have to, you know, she'll be here for a few days because the time she gets here, we got to get on the road, right? So we just thought like that'll be almost too much strain. And she's flying out too. So like if something happened and we were trapped or broke down, it'd be a nightmare to get her back to the airport and get her out. So we're going to do it in October. We have a lot more time. Go up to the Smoky Mountains. Best time of the year to be there is in October. Go up in Kentucky. Just spend some time in the eastern part of the U.S. because it's totally different, right? And that's the cool thing about this country is, especially from someone outside that's never been around, I mean, there's so much diversity in views and people and everything, right? So it's almost going to be like seeing it through a child's eyes with her. And on the trip in October, we'll have my daughter too. So that'll be really exciting.
Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. But how does a Kentucky man become a Tennessee fan? Isn't that
so I grew up
sacrilegious there?
Yeah, kind of. So not really though. So where I grew up on the southeastern quarter of the state. Knoxville's about an hour 10 minutes from where I grew up. Lexington's about 2.5 to 3 hours, right? So I'm on the Tennessee border basically, right? And so my family as a kid, I mean, my family were all Tennessee football fans, right? So to, you know, when we go to a city, we went to Knoxville. We didn't go to Lexington. So I guess growing up, I remember being fond of Kentucky basketball as a very young child, but pretty quickly, man, I lost that love. Football was my love. So yeah, I just always cheered for the Orange. And yeah, I decided, hey, when I come time to pick a school, I want the paper to say University of Tennessee, Knoxville instead of Kentucky, Lexington. So
Yeah, that's great. I've never been to Knoxville. I went to grad school at Ole Miss, so I did get to experience some SEC football, and it's a different world down there. That's life more than anything.
yeah, the Grove's beautiful. Oxford's I mean, that's a well kept secret. Yeah, man, if you've never been to Knoxville, I'd highly recommend it, especially around the game weekend. Yeah, you guys aren't coming back for a while, because that last time you were there, that whole shenanigan where we threw all the stuff on the field and everything. So if I'm not mistaken, they'll redo the schedule next year when Oklahoma and Texas enter the SEC. But yeah, you guys, it's probably a few years for you guys to come back to Knoxville.
Yeah, that was a rough one all the way around. Great game, but yeah, the ending was a bit rough.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that game.
But yeah, let's dive into Ironman, because it's obviously a big part of your life now. And for most people, I would say you got into Ironman a little differently compared to most people. You were 42, and your lead up to the Ironman was, I would say, much faster from your beginning point than where most people start at. And, most people take, I don't know, a year, 2 years to like get in good shape, and then another year or 2 years to get into Ironman shape. And so, like I said, you went from out of shape and pretty bad shape and pretty bad condition, if you want to talk on that, into 11 months later, completing a full Ironman.
Yeah, so to give a little backstory on that, I had owned a gym. I mean, fitness had been such a huge part of my life for, all of my 20s and much of my 30s. And then when I sold my gym, I just kind of walked away from it. I was so burned out of just everything to do with it. And I moved from San Antonio up to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it's quick. And when it starts to go, it goes fast, right? And I ended up in the vicious cycle that everyone else does. I'd started a corporate job. I was miserable, right? Just from from having to be somewhere that wasn't for me, for someone else, right? And I was doing well, but I fell into it was almost depression, right? So I was drinking all the time, had just ballooned up. I blinked. The next thing I knew, you don't even realize it's happening, right? And people start making like fat jokes about you and stuff, or calling you fat, or you see a picture and you're like, holy shit, that can't be me. That's a terrible picture. Well, the picture's terrible because you're terrible, right? So that had gone on, and we surprisingly found out we were pregnant. We had a little girl on the way. After years, we'd had many miscarriages. We were just under the belief that it wasn't going to happen. So we're about 3 weeks away before she was born. It was Father's Day, as a matter of fact, and I didn't feel right. And I go to work selling houses. I go to work, and I'm there for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, something's not right. Well, we had such a high risk run with pregnancies and stuff. So I didn't want to terrify her. I didn't want to scare her, but I was like, I've got to go to the hospital. And I got to do this as peaceful, as calmly as possible. But I was terrified. So my dog's
yes.
Hey, stop it. He's scratching. Hey, no, stop.
No, that's great.
But so we scared the shit out of her. Ended up, I go in, I say, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they like strip you off. They got you on a gurney, right? They start hooking you up to everything. Well, long story short, I was in the hospital for the day. I wasn't having a heart attack. I didn't have any blockage or anything, but everything else, like my blood counts, I was just in bad shape, right? I was completely overweight. At that point, I was low 280s. I'd quit getting on the scale, probably 275, and it hadn't gotten better, right? So I was in the 280s, my guess. And it was like kind of a come to Jesus moment. Well, nothing really changed though. So I had the baby, and then I'm home, and I took like a month and a half off to just be with my child, and didn't do anything for that month and a half, right? Just kind of hung out and same old same. Well, come October, I decided enough's enough. I'm tired of being tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Let me get up off my ass and move. So I go out and I walk outside. I'm like, I'm gonna go run a few miles. Man, that was a joke, right? I didn't run 500 feet and almost died. Right. I was so depressed. I was so disappointed. I went home, and I think I was off that day. I want to say it was like a Tuesday. man, 10 in the morning, I was like, oh, fuck it. Let me pour some Tito's, right? So I poured me some vodka. I was sitting there just drowning my sorrows all day thinking, how did it get this bad? Well, a couple months go by. Now we're into December. And man, it was just like, all right, it really is time. I mean, this is damn ridiculous, right? Now my daughter's getting close to 6 months at this point, or 5 months. And I got to do something because I'm not going to be around. I'm watching her play and I'm like, she's going to grow up without a dad at the pace I'm going. So I decided, hey, I got to go out and run. I got to try it one more time. And I never was like an avid crazy runner. I mean, I had spells in my life where it was important to me. You know, I'd get good at it, but I never like had this history of running. I was, like lifting weights and stuff. But for some reason, running was calling to me, man. I'd drive and I'd see people running trails or something. And I would think, man, I wish I could do that again. I wish I could get back to that point. And I never had any idea if I ever would or whatever. I wasn't doing anything to get me there. And I went out and ran. And this time I got to that. I got probably 100 feet further than I'd gone before the first time, but I was like, I'm not done. I'm going to walk, right? I can walk a little bit. I went back. I got on the Peloton. I sat on my ass in that Peloton for 2 hours, right? I was like, I can do this right here. That night I go to bed and I'm lying in bed and I'm really I wake up by 2 a.m. like that witching hour, right? And I'm like, I got to do something. And I had just read the Goggins book and I had momentum. I had that spark. And I got up and I'm like, yeah, I can go back to sleep and get up at 6 a.m. I was like, nah, let's get up right now. 2 o'clock in the morning, let's get up. So I go in and it was during the holidays, right? So my ex-wife used to put like 3 Christmas trees up. So I had to put my Peloton in my media room. It was really dark, right? And I could turn the lights on, but I went in there that day and I carried a bunch of water in and I got on that bike. This is day 2. This is legitimately the second day. I hadn't done shit in 5 years. And I get on the Peloton and I decide I don't need to turn the screen on. I don't need to turn the TV on. I don't need to turn lights on. I sat in the pitch dark, Nick, and I pedaled that damn thing for 4 hours.
Damn.
I don't know how far I went, but I didn't stop pedaling for 4 hours. And I was so proud of myself that I was like, okay, so I decided let me go sign up for a race, right? I didn't sign up. So I signed up for a 5K Spartan at that point. That was 6 months out. Right. So I'm thinking I'm going to need every minute of that to get to run 5K. I'm going to need every minute of 6 months. Right. And I'm going to back that up. That was actually the day after I did the 2 hours. So that was the first day I signed up for this race. I did the 4 hours and I realized, you know what? I think I'll be okay on that. I need to sign up for an Ironman. Now, understand, I got a couple things here. Understand, I hadn't run a mile in probably 7 or 8 years at that point. I had never been on a road bike. I'd only been on a Peloton, and I hadn't swam a lap in 25 years. And I was never a good swimmer. I'm still not a good swimmer. Still suck at it. So I signed up thinking that an Ironman is a 1 mile swim, a 50-mile bike ride, and a 10-mile run. I signed up, and I picked the furthest one out. It was like 11 months out. And I was like, give myself time to do that. So I go to work and tell everybody I signed up for an Ironman, full Ironman, Arizona. People are like, are you crazy? And I was like, no. And they're like, what's the distance? And I didn't even know it was swim, bike, run. I thought it was like bike, swim, run. I didn't know. Run, bikes. I had no idea what it was. So I pull it up to show the race, my registration. And that's where I see 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, 26.2 mile marathon. The funny thing is I may have had like a fleeting moment to where I thought that I couldn't do that. But within a minute, I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. I don't care. I paid for it. I was done. I'm in, right? So long story short, man, I committed to that and I went boot camp, man. I went militaristic for the next 11 months. Every day, it was a foregone conclusion to me that by the time I got to Tempe, Arizona, I was crossing that finish line. There was no doubt in my mind. And looking back 4 years later, 3 years later, 3.5 years, now does it hit me that, holy shit, that was crazy. I mean, that was a lot of work, right? And there's more to it. So about 10 days after I signed up for it, my now ex-wife, Lisa, she was on a ladder messing with Christmas lights. She fell off the ladder and almost tore her leg completely off. So, I mean, the bone was out. She drug it across dirt. She got infected and she had blood poisoning from that. We have a small baby. I get a call from work. I rush home. She's completely immobile, 10 surgeries, over a month in a hospital. And I had every reason very early on to say, yeah, it's not happening, right? Because now I got to take care of this infant. My teenage son at that point was 14. He went to high school 30 minutes away because she taught in that district. So she would take him every day, right? Now I got to get up. I got to make sure she's comfortable. I got to help her to the bathroom or whatever. She's got to go. She can't do anything. I've got to change her, like sometimes change her bandaging, make sure she's got her medicines, get my daughter up, get her fed, get her changed, make sure my son's up, load my baby up because I couldn't leave the baby with my ex, take him to school, go do all the grocery shopping, get back, put the baby down, make sure Lisa's fine, put the baby down for a nap. And that'd be when I'd get on the bike or I'd go out in her yard. I'd run around the yard. I had that little walkie-talkie, right? So sometimes, and I couldn't leave the yard, right? So I knew the route to do a mile in my yard. I'd run around up down these hills and stuff in my yard on my land. And sometimes my rides on my bike or my runs would be 6 minutes, 7 minutes, baby'd cry. And then sometimes I would do 10 or 12 of those in a day. So that's all I could do, right? Is that optimal? No. But I figured this, if I can survive this, if the way I thought of it was, it's going to be a really cool fucking story in 20 years, right? I didn't realize how cool the story was while I was doing it. I mean, my whole thing was, I got a lot of work to do and I got to find any way to do it. I had to be the first one up and I also had to be the last one in bed because I had to do all the cooking, I had to do everything, right? There was many times where it'd be 11 o'clock and I've been up since 4. All right, let's get this workout in. I got to go for a run. I got to get on this bike now. And yeah, man. So just needless to say, for everybody on Twitter, I wasn't sleeping 8 hours a night.
Was there a moment that you thought you might quit in that process at all?
No, never. Nope. No, I was so in tune. It's funny, man, when you got crazy stuff going on, right? When you like, hey, this woman has to be taken care of, right? This baby, it's got to eat, it's got to be changed, got to be clean, got to be held. She's an infant. She's 5 months old, 6 months, 7, as we're going, right? My son has to have attention. When you narrow it down to what's really important in your life, right? And I need to change. I need to work to change my life because I'm not going to be around if I don't do it. And that was the way I guaranteed it, right? When you narrow it down to there, you realize how insignificant doing things like hanging out at the bar is, like sitting around watching mindless TV, dicking around on your phone, right? When you really, 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 you've got like 6 big boulders you got to get in. You don't worry about little pebbles, right? So I was never more in tune to priorities. I was never more in line with like what was really, really, really important as I was during that time frame. Now, obviously, early on, it's not as bad, right? And she got her walking back. But as that happened, now the training weeks are getting up to 15, 20 hours a week, right? So, but I learned more about myself in those first 4 months, absolutely. But over that 11 months, that year time frame, I learned more about myself than I had known in the 42 previous years.
Yeah. Everybody loves to say life is short, but it's not. We just waste a lot of time, right? When it comes down to prioritizing things that actually matter to us and things that we care about, you have plenty of time to do all that.
Yeah. What they say, I don't care about adding years to my life. I care about adding life to my years. And yeah, that's for me, that was the first time. So, and obviously from the physical standpoint, I thought, well, that's crazy. But from the mental standpoint, I realized, man, that was the ultimate test, right? Because especially if you're starting where I was and you've got to take 11 months or 12 months or 2 years to do anything, you're going to have a lot of opportunity. You're going to challenge, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to do that? Right? You're going to have the opportunity to say, no, it's not in the cards. I get it. Burnout's a real fucking thing, man. You psychologically just get beat down. But the funny thing was, once I made it through those first 4 months, and I made a really physical drastic change from December to April, that time frame, a drastic change. The weight was gone. I lost 70 or 75 pounds in those first 4 months, right? So now the training's gotten easier, right? my mind, I couldn't be broken at that point, right? Blisters, pain, like, aches and shit. I never felt them, right? So I still channel that today when I got to do this. I got all these calls. I got to run this person. I got to run this errand. I'm like, hold on a fucking minute. I live in I don't have to, I mean, it takes me 8 minutes to clean this place top to bottom, right? I don't have a yard to mow. I don't have shit to do, right? I talk to people on the phone all day about their health and fitness. I don't have to go to a job I hate. Right? It's not that fucking bad, right? And if somebody's sitting right now listening to this, they're like, well, I am in that situation. So what? Fucking change it. Change it. No, it's not going to change for you. Don't wait until something catastrophic happens and you're forced to change. Right now, you've got it within you to change it, right? And I mean, if that may mean working your 9 to 5 or your 7 to 5 or whatever that is, and then spending 5 or 6 hours building whatever kind of life it is, whether it be becoming an Ironman, becoming a fucking Instagram model, or whatever it is you want, right? You can do it, but sitting around thinking about it and wanting it to happen is not quite enough, right? You got to put it all in motion.
Yeah, sacrifice needs to be made, right? That if you want to achieve something that is beyond what you are now, you have to do things that you are not currently doing. And yeah, that might mean that you are staying up until midnight, 1 o'clock, and like to do the extra work that you need to do or to work out because you have everything else going on. But it's about how bad do you want it. At the end of the day, you either want it or you don't, right? It's,
yeah.
People can come up with any excuse that you want. You have plenty of chances to make multiple excuses to not do the things that you signed up for or the things that you told yourself you were going to do, but you decided that this is what I'm going to do and I'll do whatever it takes. And the problem is that most people just don't make that contract with themselves that like, I'm going to do what it takes.
Yeah, that's the thing I say all the time. I mean, I'd written this commitment to myself that I'm going to get my ass on that track. Now, once you're on the track, anything can happen. You break a bike, drown, you can get sick, right? I learned that. But you got to get there, and so many people find a reason not to get there to begin with, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was having a conversation the other day. It's kind of an ask me anything thing on Twitter. And it spun off, right? The guy's like, hey, how do you avoid cravings? I crave potato chips, man. He's like, I'm mostly vegan. I eat fish. I'm like, that's not vegan. You're eating fish, but whatever. He's like, I start craving chips. I just can't. I eat chips every day. And I said, listen, I could give you 50 hacks, right? To tell you the ways that you avoid that. I can tell you do it in moderation, right? But ultimately it comes down to this. What do you want? Do you want to be healthy and a body that will serve you, looks great, or do you want those fucking potato chips? Well, the guy said, I want both. And he said, I don't think it's healthy just to give up anything cold turkey, and moderation's key. I fucking hate that. I fucking hate that. Moderation is average. And if you want to be the same, I don't think no one wakes up. No, there's no 12 or 13-year-old. Like, man, I just want to be average. Fuck it. Right. I want to go to work. I want to make middle money. I want to live in an average. Nobody wants that, right? If you settle for that later on, you convince yourself you want it, then you've been poisoned, right? You've entered the matrix, right? But like you said, to do things you've never done, you've got to become someone else that you're not, right? To become that person, you got to do things, right, that you've never done. So I hate moderation. And my thought is, I want everything, right? I want to go all in on every aspect of my life. Now, obviously, that doesn't, those things have to be aligned, right? I can say that. I can say, I want to be the best. I want to be the fastest runner, the strongest guy. I want to have the most money, and I want to drink more vodka than anyone else. Well, okay. There's some things there that I may need to think. What do I want more than anything, right? I want to be a great dad. I want to be a great role model for my children. I want to be healthy for longer, right? I don't want my children having to take care of me when I'm fucking 80. That's not living, right? That's a burden. I don't want that. I want to be healthy while I'm here. I want to be able to do everything that I can do today, right? I think that's key. Living better, living, not just being alive. They're not the same. They're not the same, Nick. A lot of people don't know the difference. They just want to be alive as long as possible. And they'll take anything you can put in a pill to ensure that they're able to do that. That's not what I want. So, yeah, I mean, so I want to help other people realize what it took me 42 years, 43 years to realize, right? That you got one shot at this. Your someday will never come if you don't go after it. You've got it. You have to go and get it. If not, it'll just stay someday forever and you'll run out of time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But what do you think? So there was a point of your life, after you quit, the PT, your first time training people, and you said you went in that downward spiral. What do you think was the difference between that void and the one from a couple of years ago when you finally said, all right, this is enough, I got to make a change? Was it just like, I'm in such a bad physical shape that I hate the way I look and feel, that like it needs to be a change right now? Or was there something else on top of that?
Yeah, combination of it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I found myself all the time, I've got a headache, my ankle hurts, my knee hurts. I was just like becoming that person, right? You're just miserable, right? Your body's starting to deteriorate. You're breaking down. I mean, you have every time any kind of little virus came around, I got it, right? And my body was just fucking weak. So I was tired of that. But also, how can I encourage at that point, when I first started, my daughter was also, very young, but how can I tell my son, work harder, do more, how can I tell him to do that when I'm not doing it? I'm not living it. Right. So, yeah. And then of course, seeing the pictures, you see a picture, you're like, holy, I'm going to kill myself. I can't believe I look that bad. Right. So it was a lot of stuff. And being rushed to the hospital, you kind of realize when you're sitting there, man, and they're running around and there's cardiologists and they're sticking stuff in you and on you and, and they've got you ripped hard. You're sitting there. You realize pretty quick, man, this is a pretty temporary situation. We're all going to go. We're all going to be put in the ground or whatever. Right. So I kind of figured I want to have a little more say so in it if possible. Right. I don't want it to be because of my doing, me being a fucking idiot, not taking care of my health, not taking care of my body. My family deserves better than that. Right. So that ultimately, that's why it came down to it. Why am I doing this? Yeah. It's going to be cool to have an Ironman tattoo. Right. There was all these little reasons. But when the truth be told, it came down to, I want to be able to look back and say that I did things. I set an example that my children would be proud of. And I want to always be able to say to my son remembers it, like it was yesterday, my daughter not, but she'll understand it at some point. And when she feels like she's stuck and she feels like she's confused and don't know what to do, or she can't accomplish something, you can. It's within you. You can do it, right? So I think, that's kind of like having started beginning of the resume, right? To be able to use that as an example for them.
Yeah, it's along the lines of the idea of like, you're not going to take any advice from people that aren't living the way you want to live or look the way you want to look per se. So like, again, if you want to be that role model for your kids or for someone in your life, then if you want that credibility of what you're saying, then you got to live it yourself. You got to be that living proof. Or again, you're just kind of a hypocrite and not living up to your own word. And so setting that example is super important. But what's really funny about you and like the interactions you get online is that really jars a lot of people to say like, you can do anything, you can do whatever you want to do as long as you are willing to work hard for it and like do shit that other people aren't willing to do. Why do you think that is? Why do you think so many people are taken back by that just idea?
I think, we're in a coddle society. I say that all the time, right? People want to be told that it's okay that they've become mediocre, right? They've convinced themselves, you know what? This is fine. There's nothing wrong with this. It's so fucking funny when I say something like that. Like, I believe I fully believe in my heart the best way to become great is, and I just tweeted this today, right? 3 to 6 months, all fucking in, become militaristic, right? Make your that priority, whatever it is, right? It's got to be everything to you. It has to be everything to you. Now, the people that say, well, no, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and all this bullshit, right? They're like, make smaller changes. They're more sustainable. Dude, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? So my answer to that is first off, when you go fucking crazy, when you go all in, you kind of recalibrate your new normal, right? So your new normal is you're here, right? And you go here. Okay, you come down to here. Look how further you are. Or I can be here and then here and here and here and here and here. Man, I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody says. Everybody that I know that has become extraordinary did it because they went all in. They didn't do it by making slow, gradual changes. I don't care what that's going to rub people wrong. Fuck them. I don't care. I don't care. The only people that are telling you to do less, are people, number one, are people that are never going to make it, right? They're settled in their fucking, in their pity, in their misery or whatever. They're accepting it, and misery loves company. I think everybody wants everyone to do better than they're currently doing, as long as it's not better than they're doing, right? So if they see you making a serious, drastic change, they're going to call you obsessed. They're going to demean it. They're going to say, yeah, it must be nice and shit like that, right? Because they want themselves to feel better about being stuck in their lack of ambition. The other people that are telling you to do less are trying to sell you something, and they've already made it, right? They're not being honest about what it took to get from where they were to where they are. I guarantee you it wasn't from walking 10,000 steps a day and working out 20 minutes 3 times a week. I guarantee you, right? I see bodybuilders saying shit like that. I'm like, knock it off. Knock it off. There was some time of misery in there. Trust me. I've been on fucking stage. I know what it takes, right? There's no life hacks, right? If it were that easy, everyone would do it. And it's not. So I hate that. I hate that mindset. I believe in for a certain amount of time, you need total immersion. And I use the example I use is the United States Marine Corps. Those kids go to Parris Island for 13 weeks. They're Marines for the rest of their fucking lives. They walk different. They stand different. They think differently, right? So we've got 260 years of Marine Corps, to prove it. I was Air Force, right? So, I mean, we had 6, 7 weeks in there. We didn't change shit, but the Marines do, right? So that model, in my opinion, works. Elon Musk wasn't gradually, let me learn a little bit about artificial intelligence, a little bit about rockets, a little bit about solar power, a little bit about cars and shit. No, fuck no. Whatever he's gotten involved in, he's become immersed in it. I mean, the dude sleeps at Twitter right now. Think about that, right? He doesn't have to do that. He's the fucking richest man on the planet. He sleeps at Twitter because he wants to master it, know everything about it, right? So, yeah, man, I think, I say it all the time, moderation's a fucking joke. It's a fraud, and it's for pussies.
I love it. And I think the big thing is, like, when you talk about going all in, it really does rewire your brain. It makes you think differently. And it also shows that, like, you can fucking do it. Like, 3 hard months, 6 hard months for the rest of your life. And then, like, if you want to, like, take the foot off the gas a little bit and go into a more moderate thing, then sure. But, like, just that 3-6 months of just hard, dedicated consistency, focus changes you into that new person that you need to become.
Yeah. And also too, I think it translates. I mean, whatever it is, right? And like when I used to own my gym and I'd train these like Fortune 500 CEOs or whatever, or pro athletes, work with them, and they'd be wanting to do something different. And I remember thinking, like, dude, you were you were top 0.0001% of the world at something else. You can do that. And they can relate to that. Like, hey, fuck it, you're right. I mean, I think that's why, athletic ability is one thing, so it's hard to equate that, right? Because people just assume they're just God gifted. Well, dude, skill, they're discounting skill. So when you have someone like, let me think, Lance Armstrong, okay, he's a perfect example, right? The guy was a great triathlete as a child, right? And then he goes out and he becomes he runs a Tour de France. And then after fucking 20 years of being a professional cyclist, People don't understand this. Before he got shut down, and I'm not going to get involved in the fucking, everybody else is doing it. Who gives a shit, right? It was like most even playing field it's ever been, right? So he comes off of pro cycling when he retires, right? He goes out and starts winning 70.3 Ironman. I ain't saying he's winning age group. He's beating fucking pros, finishing first and second almost everyone he did, right? So, yes, cycling played a little role in that, of course, but man, it was also that drive. I guarantee you this. I guarantee you, no matter what that man's doing, whatever, that if that dude out there starts playing Call of Duty, guess what? He's going to play Call of Duty more than your ass is. He's going to fucking get deeper into it than you do because he can get obsessed. I don't think obsession is bad. I don't view it as a disorder. I don't view it as a problem. I think that's just a convenient word. It's been stigmatized by lazy people. They see people doing things, they just call them shit like that. That's a term that the lazy and weak call the discipline, is obsessed, right? So I listen, you can stay average. There's nothing wrong with it. For most people, there's not, right? But if you don't want to be average or mediocre or whatever other term I'm using for the day, man, just try it. Get obsessed for 3 fucking months, and I guarantee you it'll change everything about you.
Yeah, there's levels to the game. If you want to be upper echelon, you got to put in the time and effort that it takes to be upper echelon. And
let me on that right there. This is important too, right? This is important. And I appreciate you saying that exact term. To be upper echelon doesn't mean, right? If I'm start getting on a bicycle, I'm never going to be in the fucking Tour de France, right? But I can be the best cyclist that I am. I can be the best weightlifter that I can be, right? And that's all that matters. You're not competing against everyone in the history of the world. There's few of those, right? Few people that have that ability. There's one Tiger Woods, right? There's one Kobe Bryant, right? There's one Tom Brady. Those are few and far between. However, you can be the best Nick Miller you can be, right? I got to be the best Boyd Myers I am. And so, that's important to remember what you're competing against is becoming the best that you can be at any given, whatever, any given venture.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. Really, the only comparison that you should be having is the person you were 6 months ago. Are you better off? Are you stronger? Are you faster? Or, even just like, are you in a better place mentally? Are you working towards a job that you like if you don't like your current job? Just constant comparison to nobody other than yourself is the ultimate key to becoming that best version of yourself. And the goal is, or the beauty of it is, like, there's really no limit to that because there's always something you can continue to improve on. There's no one out there that is perfect. And so we can always strive to be better in some aspect of our life. And each year or, a couple of years, that may look a little different. One year you might prioritize health and fitness, while a couple of years you might prioritize your business. And so it's all about, again, figuring out what it is that you want at this point in your life and pointing towards that direction and focusing on the things that actually make you better and improve on a consistent basis, getting you closer to that goal.
Yeah, and that's something that's important too. It's not a zero-sum game, right? Because you go to 10 on fitness doesn't mean you have to go to 0 on everything else, right? You can still be, I'm gonna be a 10 in fitness, 10 in dad, and a 10 in my business. Okay, this may take away time from going out and playing golf with the boys. Okay, right? That's got to go to a fucking 1 or 2, right? But it doesn't mean it's that I've got 10. That's it. I got to be in fitness. And you talked about over a couple of years. This is something I found absolutely fascinating. People completely overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 to 2 or 3 years, right? But they completely underestimate what they can accomplish in 12 weeks or 6 months or 24 weeks, right? And a big part of that is, like I said, is the focus, right? Your focus over a 3 or 4 or 5 year period for 99.9% of humans ever lived, it's going to diminish over time, right? It just is, right? But the ability to focus for a shorter term, and 3 to 6 months is not a short term, right? It is a sizable amount of time. And I mean, but here's the thing, dude, Nick, we're recording this on April 18th, bro. I remember New Year's Eve like it was fucking yesterday. right? That was 3.5 months ago. Think about that, right? How fast that went.
No,
I'll lose
still there.
Oh, there we are. Think about how fast that time went. And anybody looking back at that from right now, just think about how different your life would have been had you just gone all in on that thing you're putting off, right? It was funny. I like when I was in the military, I remember people like, the big push was get your education. They're paying for it. Go get it, right? There's so many people, yeah, man, but here I am 28, 30, and I don't have to start, but I'm going to get started on it someday. And I'm like, dude, like 4 years is 4 years from today or 4 years from 6 years from now, right? I mean, I like 4 years from today better than 4 years from waiting 5 or 6 more years, right? So, yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, if there's something if it's really important, it's really, really, really important. And I think, and people are talking to me, it's usually about health and fitness. That is important for most people. It is a goal for a lot of people. If they're being honest with themselves, it's something that they really want, right? Just fucking do it. Put in a serious, concentrated effort for 3 to 4, 5, 6 months. And people say stuff like, well, you don't understand my family, or my wife sabotages. Well, you got to have some hard ass conversations at some point. You got to get in line. You got to find out what that shit's about, right? And I mean, not to get into therapy or whatever, but if somebody doesn't want you to be healthy or doesn't want you to be better, then there's something else completely fucking wrong there, right? And it happens. I get it. But again, without being a marriage counselor, yeah, you got some deeper things to figure out and learn about right there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think, perfect example to prove just like how much you can actually do is for like most people, like what, getting in good shape in 12 months or 12 weeks is losing some weight, being able to run, I don't know, 5-10 miles at a time or something like that. Relatively easy things in the grand scale of things. Yourself, in a course of 5 weeks last year, you ran a 50K, which is about 31 miles, a little over 31 miles. You then proceeded to run 100 miles in a day. And then you proceeded to do a full distance triathlon, which is 3.6 miles swimming.
I did. It's actually 2.4,
okay.
But I did 3.6 because I didn't want to drive back. I didn't want to fuck around with traffic.
So 3.6 miles swimming, 112 miles biking, and 26 miles running. And then another couple weeks later, you decided, which is my favorite, to do a beer marathon and run 26 miles while drinking 30 beers. And so just the sheer amount of volume is insane. I think something that Zach almost said about you a couple months ago now is that like some of the things that you do are people can't really comprehend, like actually physically doing that. Because what you did in that 5 week span is what most people, or like even fit people, will accomplish in their lifetime.
Yeah, I don't know what clicked there, right? I had been training, getting ready for my races in Waco, and I just, man, that training cycle was so long, and it was much longer than I even really talked about, because I had trained for Ironman Cozumel the year before, and about 5 weeks before I got COVID, and I had like the shitty case, right, where I couldn't get out of bed for like fucking 5 weeks. I couldn't breathe. It was terrible. And then like for 3 months after that, I just wanted to sleep all the time. I lost my smell and my taste for like 7 months. It was brutal. But so I'd been training hard for Cozumel because I was like, I want to go for speed this time. So I trained really hard for it. And then that happened. So I decided, all right, I'm gonna start training. So I'm just gonna like kind of coast into it. Well, like I don't coast in anything to Waco, right? So I mean, I started that way early, and so the training side got long, and I got really, really bored, right? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna run a 50K, right? And I think I decided to run the 50K, if I'm not mistaken. I felt like I decided that at about 10 miles into a run. So I was fast for 10 miles, and that day it was about 110. And I just said, I'm gonna go. I want to push it. I'm gonna see. I don't know if I can keep this pace, but I'm gonna go as hard as I can. I'm gonna see how fast I can run this 50K. I did it under 4 hours. I think it was right at 4. I think it was like 3:58 or something like that. And I was physically done. I had run 100 miles. I'd already done it twice at that point. It'd been a year or so before, but I had done it. But I was in pain. Now it's about 18 months before. I was like, holy shit. But I was like, later on, I was fine. Within like an hour, 2 hours, I was fine. I realized, look, man, that suffering ended. I suffered my ass off on that run. But I realized an hour or two later, I was like, I'm over it. I'm okay. The suffering came to an end. It always does, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm bored. I'm completely bored with Ironman training. So that was on like a Monday. And I'm starting like, I need to do something else, right? So it may have been like Tuesday or Wednesday. So that Sunday, I decided I'm going to run 100 miles on Thursday. And I had no reason to believe I even could, because I hadn't trained. I've never trained. I've run 3 of them. I've never trained for one. And so I said, I'm going to live tweet it. It'll be fun. Give me something to entertain me, right? And I went out fast because I knew it was going to rain midday and I knew it was going to be miserable hot, right? And I was like, let me get way ahead of it. Let me get this first 35, 40 miles down. The weather gets shitty. I'll just keep moving forward. I may be walking a lot of it, but then, the hottest part of the day, I'll be my slowest time, right? I won't be working as hard during the hottest part. Sun starts cooling off a little bit. I can get back after it. Well, mile 35, I felt a pop in my foot. And I knew what it was. I knew I'd broken a bone the second it happened. And I'd gone like into the fog at that point, like kind of like, man, I'm dying. So I kept going. I was doing videos as I was doing it, right? I went back and watched the videos 100 times. I remember I was dying at mile 35. My foot was killing me. And then at mile like 41, I was back. I was fine, right? And I remember thinking, that happens a lot over 100 miles. Happens a lot, right? And I just kept going and going and going. I remember I started way early in the morning to get a big jump before it got really hot. And then like I see people in the morning get up, going to school, going to work. And then I see them coming home from school, is home from work. And then I see lights start going out at houses. And I'm thinking, I've still got a long way to go, right? So the first 76 and a half miles were right at 15 hours. And that's when Brian Gates joined me. And at that point I was beat. I was done. My feet, because it rained for a couple hours. My feet had gotten all soaking. They were just a giant blister. My left foot was broken. The fifth metatarsal was broke. It was out. I could see it pop, almost come through the skin, bruised. And I said, I don't know how much more running I can do, right? And I think we may have ran 2 more miles. So we walked. I felt terrible because he's dying. It took 10 hours to walk to do the last 23 and a half miles. That's not a fast walk. So to top it off, we get down. I mean, we're doing 2.5 miles an hour, right? Which is excruciating. Got to the last 3.5 miles, 96 and a half miles. I'll never forget it. It's pushing 3:30 in the morning. And he's already been here with me 10 hours, 9 hours, or whatever at this point. And I'm like, all right, I don't think I can walk back up the hill to get out of my neighborhood. So I don't think I can do that, because we go walk around the park. And I was so depleted because it'd been so hot. We walked the last 3.5 miles, literally over about 100 feet up and down my driveway, up in front of the street. So I wouldn't have to go up any hills or anything. The last mile, I had a rake handle, right? To like use as a freaking walking stick. Dude, we look like that movie, The Purge. Those people walking around with all the weapons and shit. That's what we look like. Zombies, bro. So I'll never forget and he commented on it like, dude, you're laughing and joking. I don't think he realized how bad I was hurting. Until it was done, I took my shoes off. And they were just a mess, right? I put them on ice and I crashed. The next day I woke up, man, feeling pain I had never felt, right? So to go on after that, I knew I was still busted, man. I knew I was hurting. I knew like a few days later, I was like, man, it took a few days to get me walking straight. That's when I said, man, I've got some good momentum here. I need to do something else. I'm going to do a full Ironman, right? And the swim was kind of like out of necessity, because I was like, I'll be sitting and chatting for a damn hour if I do that. So I'm just going to stay and swim for a little bit more. So I sat and swam, went, got on the bike. It was pouring rain, so I had to do the bike on the trainer, which was brutal. The air conditioner like techs were coming to my house to check my air conditioner. So they unplugged my air conditioner. It was like 100 outside. They unplugged my air conditioner to like test it for like 2 hours or whatever. And I'm up there pedaling, man, with no air conditioner upstairs in my house, dude. It was brutal. I was like, I'd rather be out in the rain, right? And I went out, and I was fine, though. I was fine until I got out in that first mile of that run. I said, this is terrible. And I remember thinking, holy shit, this is going to hurt, right? It took me, I mean, it actually turned out to be a decent one because like the numbness just kicked in. My feet just kind of like, dude, let's just fucking do it. It ended up being like 4.5 hours or whatever, which considering I wasn't pissed off. So the point of those two were, then the last one, the beer run, we can talk about that separately. But those first two, it was about a contract. We said that earlier, the contract. So I had a contract with myself. No one gave a shit if I'd have said, I'm out. That guys, good effort. Because there was no finish line. It was me, right? It was me and a friend or whatever. But I took a lot of pride in the fact that no one cared. There was nobody waiting for me at the end. No one would have blamed me, especially my foot broke, right? No one would have, on either one of those, if I'd have said, man, I'm done. No one would have cared, which would have probably been smarter. But yeah, I was pretty proud of the fact that I finished those because at that point, that's when I realized, yeah, there's not a whole lot I can't do if I said I'm gonna do it. Now I might die, right? I may crash and burn, but I'm not afraid to fucking take a stab at it.
Yeah, it's honestly one of the craziest things that I've ever heard anybody doing. Like you said, it's what most fit people do in their lifetime. And again, there was no event that you were at doing these. You were doing these in your backyard, in your upstairs room. It's like you're not doing it for
neighborhood,
the cheers of people, as you're going along. It's just, I want to prove to myself that I am capable and can do anything that I put my mind to.
Yeah, I got, and jump ahead a little bit. Like, so I tore my hamstring. I had hernia surgery at the 1st of November. Let me get my dates right. I'd had these hernias for years. Now they started hurting, right? I had the one in my groin. I thought I had testicular cancer. I was like, oh shit, I'm dying. Yeah, I was all messed up. I went to the doctor. You don't have cancer. You have a hernia. I thought I was like, well, I'd been watching these Lance Armstrong things. I was like, oh shit, man, I got it too. So I was in a lot of pain, and then I had hernia surgery finally, and I decided they're like, lay off the running a little bit. I was like, okay, yeah, I can take a month or so off, right? So after that, my hamstring snaps and pops and freaking the 1st of December. That was some of the worst pain I'd ever felt. A big muscle tears, it hurts, right? So now I'm not running. I mean, I can't. I mean, if I want to or not, I can't, right? So I go through that, and it heals pretty quickly. It heals faster than I thought it was going to. So I started running again, I want to say late January. And I'm like, look, I'm building a lot of muscle. I want to get back. I want to be strong again. I don't want to bodybuild. I don't care to be a power lifter. I don't care to be a competitive power lifter again. But I've got a lot to fix, right? Because I mean, for 5 years, I didn't do shit. And then for four or 5 years, I've been doing ultra endurance, right? So I want to put some muscle on. I eventually want to run I'd like to run Badwater, but I eventually want to run Leadville, right? So I want to keep some semblance of being able to run because I still enjoy running. It still sucks, still hard, but I enjoy finishing it, right? So I've been running 3, 4, 5 miles, right? Once a week, just to make sure I could. Well, I'm at the gym last week on Wednesday, and this guy, I was planning on doing legs on Friday, right? This old man there's talking. He sees my Ironman, my backpack or my tattoo. He asked me, hey, you do Ironman? Well, yeah, done it, right? And he's like, I don't know if I believe it. I'm like, okay, you don't have to, right? I was like, to show you a finish line video, right? Or you'll see a medal. And he's like, yeah, it's crazy, man. He goes, I bet you couldn't do it right now. I was like, today? No, I'm not training for it. He goes, dude, if you trained for a marathon, you would dwindle away. And I'm kind of thinking like, this guy has no idea what the fuck he just did. So Thursday, I think I kind of didn't give it a second thought on Wednesday. And I'm lifting. I'm like, whatever, I can outrun your ass right now. Like I'm thinking that, right? He's a runner, right? So I go out. I'm running tomorrow, so I'll do a light. I was going to go run. I woke up and I think I'm going to go run 8 or 10. Right? I hadn't really run. I hadn't run 8 or 10 in a little bit. I think November was the last time I'd gone to 10 miles. because that was the second beer run. I did 20, 21 or something like that, right? So I get out, man, about 4 or 5 miles into it. I text Daniel and I say, dude, we'll run a marathon. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't know. But there was no plan. I had no water set up, man. I didn't have a lot of shit. I mean, I only drink bottled water. I'm not drinking the water out of a damn faucet in an RV, right? So I didn't have like all my nutrition stuff. I only had one little bottle. I don't even know where the other ones are at, right? Because I hadn't been running that far to care. So I went out and ran the marathon, and it was right at, I think, 4:29 or something like that, right? So I show up the next day, and that guy is there. And I said, hey, man, I got something for you. He's got a Garmin on, so I know he knows what Garmin Connect is. So I show him I did a marathon yesterday. He's like, I don't know if still believe me or not, but I was limping. He goes, what are you lifting today? And I said,
Damn right.
So for me, I know if his ass ran a marathon, this is my mindset. That motherfucker would have taken a month off, taken 2 weeks off. He wouldn't have been doing legs. Dude, I went over there and I was like, man, I'm not squatting today because my hips are fucked up. My glutes are killing me. But I'm going to get on that leg press right there and I'm going to freak this guy out. And I loaded up 1,000 pounds in a few sets with that. So I was
welcome
like,
to the show. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Don't mess with me. Yeah, and I was like, and yeah, my whole thought, and I put that when I tweeted that out, I said, just because I don't doesn't mean I can't, right? So that was kind of like a fuck you moment, like real quick. Some guy I don't even know, but I knew. So there's a reason for that, right? I knew I'd like, you know what? I've gotten comfortable not running these long distances, right? And running a marathon every week, would that help me with my goals? No, I'll be the first to say you don't need to run that much, right? But running a few miles, running in 10, I was like, as long as I can run 7.5, 8 minute miles, I'm good for 5 or 6 miles. Dude, I started feeling getting soft, right? I was like, this run's a little shitty, man. Let me slow down. Being a bitch. And I was like, nah, let me shut that shit down right now. I'm gonna go out and run a marathon. My toenails hurt. I'm 240 pounds. My feet hurt more today than they hurt a week after that damn 100, right? They hurt like that, right? But I'm not going to show that. So what I did, that guy doesn't give me 1 second of thought when he's not right in front of me. But what I did for me, he helped me so much. I owe him a debt of gratitude because he let me feel like he woke me up by feeling this motherfucker's doubting me. He's slighting me. Okay, I'll show him. I really wasn't showing him. I was showing me, but I used that as fuel for something, right? I had to find something like, we're going to run this marathon. And I'm out there dying at mile 18, dying like that. They're going to find, this is it. My heart was like through the roof. I was like, I finally did it. I've run out of miles. And I was thinking, you know how much motherfucker that guy at the gym, how much he would like, see, I told you so. I was like, nah, fuck that. Dude, I got my power back, man. I mean, slow miles. I mean, my last 3 or 4 were all sub 10s. I was happy with that. Like, dude, I'll take it all day.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. But it is funny though, how like, people will project their own insecurities or weaknesses onto other people, right? Just some random guy you said. He's like, oh, you couldn't do a marathon now. Like, why not? Why the hell not?
Yeah. I would dwindle away.
Crazy. And then it's just, again, up to yourself to prove to yourself, like, that guy might be right. Why don't we go test it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is it proved again? I mean, listen, physics is real, right? I mean, my bone structure is not a bone structure that's designed to carry a ton more weight than I do carry, right? I've got small ankles, I have small knees, my joints are small, right? So when I put muscle on, I feel it, right? Not all the time, but like I feel it a lot more than I do if I'm walking a 205 or 210 or whatever. So I felt pretty quickly like, yeah, this could end bad. This could be catastrophic. And I tore my hamstring 4 months ago, right? So those were all in my mind, but I was like, well, okay, so what are we dealing with right now? I'm going to feel some pain. I'm cool with it. That'll stop, right? It'll eventually end. I'm going to suffer. That's going to stop, right? Could I tear a hamstring? Could I tear an Achilles, right? Absolutely. Still not going to I'm not going to stop until it happens, right? So stop thinking about it. Don't be a bitch and just keep going, man. And I made it 26.2. I don't know if I could have run 26.5, but I made 26.2 that day.
Yeah, it's incredible. Incredible, man. And so, people listening to you are probably like, damn, this guy's a savage, because you are. But they're also thinking like, oh man, I would maybe like to get there one day, or at least be more than what I am now. And so you have some rules for success that I found on your website. And I just want to cover, as our last couple questions here, just my top 3 that I found. The first one is give yourself permission to be a bad motherfucker.
Yeah. So, and I probably originated that from the book Tim Grover, Relentless, be my guess, right? Because it's funny. We're all born bad and we're taught to be good, right? So don't do that. Be quiet, be good, right? We're taught that our whole lives, right? So to the point to where we don't want to be viewed as a fucking savage, right? Or people want to be, they think in their mind they kind of are, but they're not going to let that out. They're not going to let people see that, right? Every once in a while, you got to let loose, man. You got to say, fuck it. And it's funny. People are worried about, go sign up for a fucking 100-mile or go sign up for whatever your heart is. Sign up for a 5K. Well, people don't want to do it because they're afraid they won't make it or whatever. They won't finish or they'll be slow and they think they'll look stupid, right? I'm here to tell you, first off, nobody gives a fuck, right? Everybody's so concerned about their own shit. Nobody gives a fuck. And if someone is excited to see you fail, what's that say about them? That their life is so meaningless. They're rooting against someone else, right? So, if there's whatever it is you want to do, fucking go do it, right? Don't give a fuck about anybody else. But man, the bigger the goal, the more the motherfucker you got to become, right? So at some point, if you want to do something crazy, you got to decide like, hey, look, fuck it, I'm doing this. And yeah, nothing stopping me. I think of motherfuckers in sports, right? Tiger Woods prior before the car wreck, absolute motherfucker, right? Kobe Bryant would assume kill you and look at you to win. Michael Jordan, total. Lance Armstrong, Michael Phelps. Remember the Michael Phelps when that guy was had said some shit about him in the press, and that guy sitting there like nervously dicking around, and Michael Phelps was locked on that guy. Like you ever seen that picture? He's just sitting there staring at that guy, that crazy ass like in a best look. It was over. He was going to kill that fucking guy, right? So, yeah, every once in a while, you've got to become that. One of my favorite stories ever is Jekyll and Hyde, man, and this is kind of veered away from that. So what was the alter ego and what was the real person, right? A lot of people think Dr. Jekyll was the person he was trying to, and Hyde was the alter ego. No, that's not true. Batman, Superman, right? People think that Bruce Wayne is the person and Batman's alter ego. That's not true. Clark Kent is not the person. Superman's not the alter ego. They're backwards. Superman has to fucking become Clark Kent. Clark Kent doesn't become Superman, right? Batman becomes Bruce Wayne. Hyde has to go back, has to be taught to be contained, right? To not be a motherfucker and be Dr. Jekyll, right? So sometimes you got to let your true self out, man.
And do you think everybody has that motherfucker in them?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Now, is it as much motherfucker as everybody else? Probably not, right? There's some people that just like lost their giving damn years ago, me, right? But yeah, absolutely, man. You can tap into it, right? And it's not something to overthink. At some point, you just got to say, fuck it, I'm doing this. Fucking doing it. No matter what, right? Fuck it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of power in fucking.
Number 2, life is going to fuck you. Act accordingly.
Yeah, man. So you could be doing everything in the world that you think you're doing everything right. You're flying, you think, right? And then sickness, death, divorce, financial, there's all this shit you can't control, right? Just fucking expect it. And what I found is the more you dip yourself into the fire, when you don't have to, right? You just go out and you suffer because fuck it, I like to suffer. When real shit happens, and that's real shit. Cancer is real shit, right? Sick child is real shit, right? You lose your wife or whatever, death, divorce or whatever. The stock market collapsing, I know tons of people in 08, 09 lost fucking everything, bro, that you never in a million years would have thought, but their company went out or whatever. That's real shit, right? But what I find for me is my tolerance for that shit, man, listen, shit still sucks, right? I still have bad things happen to me. But dude, I'm much more equipped to handle them, right? So you got to remember, we're sitting here right now, April 18th, 2023. Let me ask you this right here, Nick. It's a serious question. Of all the bad shit you've been through in your life, right? The worst shit. How many times did it kill you? You're still fucking here, right? So keep in mind that ultimately it will be in the rearview mirror. Keep moving forward. And that's what I mean by acting accordingly. Act accordingly.
And number 3, and my favorite, which has become kind of your calling card, DBAP. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even need an explanation anymore, right? Just don't be a pussy, right? So, and by that, I mean, and traits of being a pussy. I just probably should write these down. This just came to me, right? When I'm being a pussy, I'll put it back on me. I'm not putting on anybody else. Me. When I'm procrastinating, I'm being a pussy, right? Like I'll sit here and stare at my shoes. I'm like, I gotta go run, man. Hold on, let me see. Let me watch this next segment of First Take or whatever, right? Or whatever's on ESPN. Hold on, man. They're talking about Elon. Let me watch fucking news, right? Some shit like that, right? I'll come up with all kinds of nonsense. Hey, I got a call at 4. It's 10 now. Let me just wait till after my call at 4, right? Whatever, right? Procrastination's a total pussy thing, right? So anything you're procrastinating, anything that you're dreading, right? Dread, that's a pussy emotion, right? All that stuff you have to attack. You got to get it out of the way, right? Fear. Listen, you need to find things that make you afraid, but to stay afraid of them, that's being a pussy, right? You got to attack it, right? Fear's not even real. You can't quantify fear, right? It doesn't exist, right? So what are you afraid of? You're afraid of pain? Well, I mean, you're going to hurt for doing it or hurt for not doing it, right? Are you afraid of failure? Well, nobody, like I said a minute ago, nobody gives a fuck, right? And what is it? It only sucks if you don't get up and keep going, right? So to give up, to not chase what it is you want, to not even attempt it, not to just take a run at it, man. That's a pussy mindset. To not go all in, right? To leave money on the meat on the bone, money on the table, whatever you want to say, right? That's a tragic. That's a tragedy, right? We're all capable of so much more than we believe and that we know. And to not go after that, man, you're sacrificing a giant gift.
All of our worst nightmares is us meeting the person that we could have been if we went all in, if we truly bet on ourselves.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I know we're going to wrap up here in a minute. I'm going to the thing I talk about with that is, right. So I had this like thought, and sometimes I get choked up talking about it. Like, what if here I am, 47 today. I'm 47 right now, 188 years old. I'm a million, right? Like, what if I could have a conversation with my 8-year-old self and my 88-year-old self, right? So I'd wonder, would my 8-year-old self, because I see that little boy and I think about that kid that so much wanted to be a shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds, right? That wanted to be the fucking quarterback of the University of Tennessee, that wanted to do all these things, that wanted to go to the fucking moon, right? Wanted to go to space camp and then go to the moon and do all that, work for NASA and all that. And I wonder, aside, he's going to be pissed off if he finds out we're bald as fuck, right? Early. Right. I wonder, and I thought about that, right? I thought about that at like, what if I met this kid at 42, right? And he's like, hey, where are we at? I think about how disappointed he would have been to know that person. And then I'm like, okay, give me 1 year, right? And I go meet the 88-year-old man, and I'm like, dude, I did this, man. I was on top of my job. I was, I worked a lot. I mean, I was in the Hall of Fame of this company. My face was on NASDAQ. I'm a decorated military veteran. He's like, yeah, you did. Yeah. So I realized neither one of them were proud or excited. Right. And I say, give me a year. Okay. Give me 1 year. Okay. So I go and at that point, let's say I did the Ironman. Let's say give me 5 years and eventually I run the 100 miles 3 times and all this other crazy shit. We'll leave the beer marathon out of it. But, did all that. And then I went back. Let's like I said, a year, right? We do the Ironman, we change. And I tell 8-year-old me how much we changed and how much we grew. Man, didn't expect that. And I saw excitement, right? He's like, yeah, man, you swam 2.4 miles, rode your bicycle 112, ran a marathon 26.2 miles. Yeah, I can get behind that, right? And I go to the 88-year-old man. I said, I did it. He said, son, that's not the year you did it. That's the year you got started, man. And yeah, man, so you got this out of me, brother. Nobody.
That's a beautiful story, and I think a beautiful way to end. And excuse me, but honestly, boy, like I said, you're somebody who inspires me on a daily basis. Just seeing the stuff that you do makes me stop being a pussy whenever I want to be one. And so I thank you for the content that you put out and the stuff that you do, because again, it inspires me and gets me going. And I know it does for a lot of other people. It amazes me you're only at 12,000 followers where you're at now. I think in a short time it'll be a 0 added onto that. You'll be at 120,000 and just keep going, because again, the stuff that you do is next level shit, savage stuff that most people can't even comprehend. And so you will continue to be recognized for it. And so if people want to follow you, get in touch with you, where is the best place?
Well, obviously I'm business on Twitter. My name, Boyd Myers, BoydMyers. I'm on Instagram. That's more about, I post more stuff about the RV. I post stuff about my daughter, my goofy ass dog, and some workout stuff on there. But I'm most active on Twitter. You can do a Facebook search. I think Ironman Boyd Myers will get you there. I very rarely update it. People find it like, you don't update your webpage or your Facebook, right? I'm like, I really don't like Facebook. And I have my blog as well, boydmyers.com. Again, I don't update that from a blogging standpoint so much, but it has all my contact information. It's got information about my coaching and all that on there. So yeah, the easiest way, get on Twitter, reach out to me. I'm always
awesome. There. Yeah, like all of us, we are way too addicted to Twitter, so it is the best place to find most of us. But I will have all that linked below.
Yeah, man. I went through it. I went through it I was like, man, I'm gonna post as little as possible. Post once, twice a day. But yeah, I'm back. I'm full fledged again. Posting between
sucks you back in. But right, yeah, so we'll have linked all those, your Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff linked below in the show notes that people can find you there. But again, Boyd, I really appreciate your time. It was a great conversation, and thanks for coming on, man.
Nick, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.